Hello AS, welcome to what hopefully you found was a nice easy nervous system exam questions. I didn't want to give you too many hard ones. Neurons next week I do give you a couple more because it's really important and we cover such lots of information, but this one I thought hopefully you've appreciated that, made it nice and easy. So you get 2 marks for AO1 on this one and 2 marks for AO2. AO1 is describe and AO2 is apply or contextualise. So hopefully you've told me a lot about Martha. So you get 1 mark here for talking about the central nervous system and what it does. So if you've told me any information, generic information about the central nervous system, you get 1 mark. The information I've gone with is that it contains the brain and spinal cord, which controls conscious thought and involves passing information to and from the peripheral nervous system. So the brain, conscious thought, and then the spinal cord passing information to and from the peripheral and central nervous system. And then my 2nd mark I get, in this example, Martha's auditory cortex in the brain heard footsteps behind her. So tell me a thing about the central nervous system and then apply the central nervous system to the example given. So Martha, the other examples you could have talked about, so you could have talked about the brain and cerebral cortex involved in higher mental functioning, so I realised that, it was your brain processing and realising it. Decision making, I decided to run, so the brain. You could talk about the auditory cortex like I did, or the temporal lobe, processing auditory information, I heard footsteps, and then the visual cortex in the occipital lobe, which processed visual information, I saw. Tell me something generic about the central nervous system, apply it specifically to Martha, 2 marks. Same thing for the ANS, you could tell me anything about the ANS, so that it's life maintaining processes such as heart rate, transmitting information to and from internal organs. You could tell me about the sympathetic division or the parasympathetic. So sympathetic prepares you for fight or flight, and the parasympathetic which returns you to normal. If you told me anything about the autonomic nervous system, 1 mark, and then apply it to the stimulus. So for example, increased heart rate in emergency action, my heart was beating faster, increased action of adrenal glands and energizing effect, move with such speed or shaking, or blood vessels to limbs dilating, so increased blood flow, sweating. So you can talk about any of those. Okay, and then multiple choice, lovely, nice, easy ones. The first one was B, because it's got the somatosensory nervous system, so it takes information to the CNS about sensory stuff and returns motor responses. So remember, S for sensory, M for motor. And then the other answer was C. The sympathetic nervous system prepares you for fight or flight, so increases your heart rate. All the other responses were about functions of the parasympathetic nervous system, so returning you back to normal. And then the 2 answers there were B and E. So the central nervous system is in the centre of the body, the brain and the spinal cord. So remember, right in the middle, brain and spinal cord. And then the somatosensory nervous system is voluntary movements. Remember, autonomic is automatic or involuntary, whereas somatosensory is voluntary movements. And that's it. Thank you very much.